got the matches, we gonna turn this town to ashes, 'cause they ain't never seen nothing like us. I ain't heard loud till we turn it up. I got the wild, you got the crazy. You know that's why I love you, baby, 'cause your motor runs just as fast as mine. Pedal to the metal, keep the throttle down all night. And we only get one life. Ain't scared to ride this train. Make a few marks, leave a few stains. Might slam just a little too hard. Might take it just a little too far. Might burn out like a firework, like a shooting star across the sky. And we may not be around in 20 years, but for sure gonna know we were here. Yeah, for sure gonna know we were here. People talk, girl, you know damn well, but when they got a good tale to tell, let's give them something they ain't never seen. A little rated R redneck dream. Let's blaze a trail through the dirty South. Give them something they can talk about. A little story that they won't forget long after we ride off into the sunset, baby, 'cause we ain't dead yet, baby. Ain't scared to ride this train. Make a few marks, leave a few stains. Might slam just a little too hard. Might take it just a little too far. Might burn out like a firework, like a shooting star across the sky. And we may not be around in 20 years, but for sure gonna know we were here. We only get one chance around. This runaway roller coaster train, and it ain't slowing down. So baby, they're gonna remember our name. Ain't scared to ride this train. Make a few marks, leave a few stains. Might slam just a little too hard. Might take it just a little too far. Might burn out like a firework, like a shooting star across the sky. And we may not be around in 20 years. No, we may not be around in 20 years, but for sure gonna know we were here. Yeah, for sure gonna know we were here.
That was awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, Rich Redmond here. Man,
What's up, everybody?
the energy in that song, I could just feel it.
That's a good opener.
It's a great opener, man. I'll let you catch your breath. Again, guys, it's got Rich Redmond here with us at Drumeo. He's from Nashville. He is the drummer for Jason Aldean. He's been in over 20, been in 20 #1 songs, single songs.
Yeah.
He's been in over 20, been the drummer in 20 million album sales as well, which is absolutely insane. And he's also an educator. He does a lot of clinic work and stuff as well. He's the author of Fundamentals of Drumming for Kids. If you guys haven't seen this, go check it out. It's a great book for beginners and for kids starting out on the drums. And I'm excited to finally have you in drumming. We've talked for quite a while about getting you out here, and it just worked out perfect right now.
It's so awesome to be here. This facility, the guys behind the glass, you guys can't see it, but there's 4 or 5 crazy guys. They're just super awesome guys. We've been breaking bread, hanging out, sweating all day together. It's really great.
No, it's great, man.
It's great to be
You're
here.
always welcome back here anytime, and I'm excited for this lesson. The title of this lesson is Money Beats, and it's going to be a lot of fun. You guys download the sheet music if you want. It's below. Just scroll down, and you can download that.
Yeah.
I also, before we start, I want to thank your sponsors for helping bring you out here. Remo Heads, ProMark Sticks, Sabian Cymbals, and DW Drums. It always helps out having great companies like that helping us and you out as well. So, and if you guys are watching this for the first time and you don't know what Drumeo is or what we do here, we do this kind of stuff all the time. Every day we do live lessons and all that, and you can try it out for free for 30 days, drumeo.com/trial. Check it out and come hang with us. Like I said, this is what we do here. So
We play drums.
that's it, man.
Drum Education Online.
Drum Education Online.
I love it.
Okay, I'm going to stop talking because we got a lot of stuff to cover. Money beats, take it away.
Yeah, so what are the money beats? This is a kind of appropriate title for 5 beats that I would consider you needing to know how to play, to think about playing in a band or playing on songs or just being a working drummer. Yeah. So what I'll do is, just to make it very approachable for you guys, if you want to follow along with the sheet music, what I'm going to do is I'm going to play all 5 money beats, and I'm going to use a cross stick, and I'm going to play 2 bars. That's what the Brits call a measure. I'm going to play 2 measures of each exercise, and just at a comfortable tempo. So here we go. 2 bars of each. 1, 2, 3, and... Had to have a cute little dismount there.
I like that, yeah.
But so the idea is to play these, and if you're playing with an AC/DC record, that's usually one of the first things I do. I tell young students, I put on like, because what you're doing is you're playing basic relationships between the kick drum and snare drum. 2 and 4 on the snare drum, 1/8 notes on the hi-hat, and these various kick drum patterns. And you want to make sure that you're practicing all of these patterns with a click track at slow tempos and fast tempos and everything in between. Be very methodical about practicing. Practice at 80 BPM, practice at 81, practice at 82, and also work on different dynamic levels. And people are like, dynamic levels, I'm playing as loud as I can. You want to make sure that you're playing different dynamics on this instrument in case you have to play that, VFW club, or, you're playing on a huge stage for 60,000 people. You're going to approach the dynamics differently. Okay, so this is your basic money beat number 1. And what I'm doing is, if you notice on the hi-hat, I'm accenting the downbeats, and I'm using different parts of the stick. Stroke, tap, stroke, tap. So that way you can hear the accent of where that quarter note is. So. Now you should be able to play this in your sleep, because this is how I actually pay my mortgage and pay for my car and buy Chuck Taylors, by playing this beat at a variety of tempos. All right, so look at some different things that we can do to create different characters of the groove. I'm just going to play this beat for you. Watch the different things that I could do with my right hand, playing quarter notes, playing accented quarter notes, playing accented upbeats, playing all the notes of the measure exactly the same, and then adding different subdivisions like 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4, or 1 EN, 2 EN, 3 EN, 4 EN. So I'll just play I'm going to run these variations down for you. Here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. So your relationships, that's your moneymaker. Boom, schmack, and then creating different characters and different colors and different feels using the hi-hat. I can take my same right hand, I can go over to the ride cymbal, and treat every part of the drum set as its own unique voice. So you can play with the tick of your stick. Tick of the stick. Hey! The tip of the stick on the body of the ride. You could also play the tip on the bell, and also the shank. And the shank. So here's some variations. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
just to let you guys know, he's going through the variations, the hi-hat variations, and the ride cymbal variations. It's all in the sheet music below if you guys wanted to follow along with that. Yeah.
Yeah, now don't forget about the left foot. There's so many people that forget about the left foot. To me, this is the glue. Yeah. This is the glue of the drum set. You got muscle, you got bone. This is the ligament. This is what pulls it all together. And when you're able to use the left foot, it solidifies the backbeat. The backbeat is where people clap their hands, so you want to honor that. So what I do is I make sure that you can play 2 and 4 on the hi-hat, quarter notes on the hi-hat, upbeats on the hi-hat, and eighth notes on the hi-hat. So what I'll do is I'll play money beat number 1. I'll go over here to the rim. I'll play my right-hand pattern on the rim so you can hear. I'll play a cross stick, and we'll focus on what I'm doing with the hi-hat. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, and... Right? So another thing we could do is get into splashing the hi-hat. And now if you learn how to play jazz brushes, you'll be doing this. There's a thing called the ching. And the ching is where you just kind of lightly splash the cymbals together. I actually like to get the whole ball of my foot involved and get those things to kiss for as long as possible. So the first thing you want to do is play on 2 and 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. If you want things to sound more Latin, like a Guido pattern, you can put it on 1 and 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. You can also do full down beats as eighth notes. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, or 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and. Here we go. I'll run them down for you. 1, 2, 3 and 4 and. Right? Perfect. So a lot of characters, and what we did is we just had that one relationship. That's their one money beat. So as you go through these different money beats, apply all these variations, and it's kind of like Starbucks. You have endless combinations. How many flavors do you want here? Right? So, let's talk about these other money beats, and what I'll do is maybe I'll just play some different hi-hat variations for you.
Totally.
So here's money beat number 2 is what we call the heartbeat. Now this was really popular in Nashville in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, and now we're on to playing on full-on rock. This pattern actually has a tendency to sound a little light, a little bit more legato, a little bit more feminine, but it came along during Motown, during the Wall of Sound, Phil Spector, boom, 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 blap, boom, 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 da-da-da, boom, boom, boom. Now you add the backbeat and you get this, 1, 2, and 3, and boom. So that's something you might hear like the great Liberty DeVito play, you know.
Totally.
Oh, yeah, oh. Money beat number 3 is, you're gonna hear this on classic rock radio constantly. So the kick drum pattern is 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2. I play that one a lot. That's like on.
I was gonna say all these I can hear quite often, and just so many different styles of music already, but country in particular too, right?
Number 4 would be like your Queen groove, do do blop, do do blop, but except you're just playing it between the kick drum and snare drum. So the kick drum pattern is just 1 and 2, 3 and 4, and then. One thing we didn't address is some of your hi-hat variations with 16ths, and you're going to want to slow it down. So check it out. Okay, so that's a thing that's like a great Jeff Porcaro was fantastic at.
Yeah.
But you might have to really practice that to have it feel comfortable. And then as things get a little bit faster, you can make the transition to doing 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. You could use that as an ostinato and play all these money beats. So for example, a little bit faster, 1, 2, 2, 2, 2. So really all I was doing there was just playing a grid of 16ths. Opening on the ends, opening on the 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a... Adding different characters, you can even add some 9-stroke rolls and stuff and sound like a really smart drummer, like a fusion-y type drummer. And our last example is our 4 on the floor. So if you're listening to pop radio, Taylor Swift, anything from ABBA to Zappa, and anything in between, this is actually I consider one of the most challenging grooves to play. And actually in the Aldean band, we have some hits that are in the high 70s, low 80s that are kind of like really brooding grooves, and there's a lot of space. Mm-hmm. So songs like Tattoos on This Town, where I'm playing 4 on the floor, 1, 2, 3, 4. That really is one of the most challenging grooves around because you don't want the kick drum flamming too much with the snare drum. Dude, 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 dude. Getting the snare drum to sit right in there, and that comes from 2 things: playing with records, with drummers and bands that have great time, or practicing with some sort of a click track. Always having a click track, whether it's your Frozen Ape app that's 99 cents, or you go buy a Tama rhythm watch for 99 bucks, or you go to a store and you get some sort of a Roland Dr. Beat or something.
Yeah.
Something that you're working on your time, because let's face it, as drummers, my whole philosophy is you need to be able to play these grooves with all these different characters, different dynamics, and at any tempo.
Yes.
And be able to play with the click or just get a reference of a click. So if I'm going to sit in with a band at night and the drummer's not playing with a click, I'll just say, oh, he's got a rhythm watch in there. Like, what's this tempo? Beep, 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 ow. I get the body language going. Ow. 1, 2, 3, ba. Boom, I'm playing, and then I could reach down and I could check myself on the bridge. Oh, I'm having a good night. Red, green, red, green. I'm in the pocket, you know? And that last one is kind of like, have you ever heard this beat? That's little Stevie.
Stevie Wonder.
He's playing money beat number 5. There's just a swing. Boom. So to me, this is the basis of all popular music. You can challenge yourself. Pick up a tambourine in the right hand and play the 8th notes or the 16ths. Pick up some maracas and, you're imitating Mick Jagger as you're playing these things, you know? So this is actually, the reason that I get to ride around on a tour bus. And some days it's velvet ropes, other days it's caviar, other days it's just Rotel, man, and ramen noodles. But it's been an amazing journey, and these beats are your vehicle.
So do you find some drummers, they get too far ahead of themselves maybe, or they try to do some complex like left foot clave or polyrhythms and stuff like that before they got these down? Or
yeah, I think this is a great place to start. If you master these, and let's face it, there's drummers out there like the great Steve Gadd, who when he sits down to play, there's a reason why he's one of the most recorded drummers in history, because he's focusing on subdivisions and where he places things and making things feel exceptional, and he can make the most simple things like money beat number 1 feel so exceptional. Mm-hmm. So the only way to develop that instinct is to, like I say, practice with classic recordings from world-class musicians, and then work on your click track, and then also play out. If you're playing in your basement all by yourself, you could be the world's greatest drummer, but the true test is how you interact with other musicians, how you lead, how do you follow, can you take direction from people? Because being in a band is like being a team. It's like it's like a sports, really, you know, and you really have to lean on each other. But what I do to remind myself is that I say, what kind of drummer, if I was a lead singer, what kind of drummer would I want backing me? And I try to be that drummer. There's a reason why Don Henley is one of the most musical drummers around. He never steps on his vocal because he's singing the song. Mm-hmm. So when he's not singing and he needs to take a breath, he might go, ba-dum, bang, ding, ding, bop, or just a perfectly placed floor tom stroke on beat 4, or opening the hi-hat in between phrases. Yeah. So that's the kind of drummer that I want, that I strive to be, and I'm always working towards.
Ah, sounds great, man.
Yeah.
Well, we also filmed a course for the Edge members here right before this, and you're not just a country drummer, you're very versatile. All the different styles, you know, and you're just hitting them in the pocket. So if you guys are Edge members, you're going to check that out. It'll probably be released in a couple months from now, but before we move on here,
I got a little black book. Is it okay that I pull it out?
Sure. Go for it. I was going to say, before we move on, some of these beats, the Boom Shack, the Heartbeat, the Rock Roof, Stadium Rock Roof, 4 on the Floor, you want to just run through a few of those just really quickly, but with some of the other variations, Back to the Ride and stuff like that, just so we can get a better idea of how they sound with those variations below?
Yeah. Do we want me to pick one more? How about the Stadium Rock Roof?
Sure.
And I'll play that, and I'll just focus on playing 2 and 4 on the hi-hat as I run down variations on the right hand, and then I'll hit you with the left foot variations.
Awesome.
All right, boom, boom, cha, boom, boom, cha, 1, 2.
That's awesome. You can hear just the difference between those two. They're subtle, but you still have that fundamental boom, chock, boom, boom, chock. You know,
boom, boom, chock.
Yeah.
Boom, boom, chock. Don't give our audience too much credit. You know what I mean? It's like people that are coming to see shows, they work hard all week. Mm-hmm. Maybe they don't know anything about music, but they just want to be entertained and they want to hear that vocal, and they don't want you stepping all over the vocal. Yeah. So they're reacting to these basic primal things that make people want to move. So you need to master these things.
I love that. Yeah. Don't give them too much credit. Absolutely, man. Okay, so you got a couple of variations, more Money Beat variations.
Oh, yeah.
4 on the bottom. You want to quickly talk about those?
Oh, yeah. Where's my music? Here I go. Oh, you printed it out for me. These guys are smart and savvy and sexy. This is the best team in the world here, guys. More Money Beat variations. Okay, so you've heard this one. This first beat goes like this. Now you can see why I'm not hired to sing. But if you break it down, on beat 2, we have beat 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And on the kick drum, it's just like Money Beat number 1, except we're putting a little hiccup or a stutter in the kick drum. So what we're doing, instead of playing on beat 3, we're playing on the upbeat of 3. So da, da, boom, da, boom, da, that's boom. Now you see also, you could play this just stock as written, and then occasionally what I'll do is I'll start adding what I call these little popcorn strokes or little squiggly booglies on the, it's like Halloween time, so there's some squiggly booglies on the snare drum there. So I'll do 2 bars without the squiggly booglies, and then I'll do 2 bars with the squiggly booglies. And it just, this kind of stuff just comes from playing drums in bands and listening to other drummers, and this is just a sign of maturity. So 2 without and 2 with. 3 and 4. It's just little stuff that makes it percolate a little bit more and move forward a little bit.
Totally, yeah, I can hear that.
Okay, so B is basically the same macro rhythm, except we're taking beat 2, E, and we're putting it on the kick drum. So. You notice that the fills that I'm doing are in the style of Motown, classic rock, Stax recording, Alligator Records, groove stuff that's not, not fast stuff. Every time I'm doing a fill, I'm thinking, is this going to step on a vocal and is it going to be accepted on radio? I'm always trying to play like something that's being recorded constantly, and you never know who's watching, so you want to sound mature and musical. C, doom, do ba, boom, do ba. So if you just take the kick drum pattern, it sounds very much like hand jive or clave. So the kick drum is playing 1 E and 2 and 3 and 4. Snare drum on 2 and 4, 8th notes on the hi-hat. 1, 2, 3, 2. So I did 2 bars without squiggly booglies and 2 bars with squiggly booglies. And then all we do on D is we take the 1 E and of beat 1 and we displace it by putting on the snare drum, and it creates this kind of like a little bit of a jerky rhythm. You're gonna hear this if you listen to smooth jazz. There was like a period of time for about 15 years when every smooth jazz song had this beat, boom, cast, boom, boom, da, right, with the saxophone. But you can use it in a lot of different kinds of music. I've used it with singer-songwriters, and it goes like this: 1, 2. Off a little tangent, but immediately I started playing some variations.
I was actually just going to ask, because you can use all these same variations that are on the sheet music here.
On any of them.
With any of them. Do you want to maybe demo 1 or 2 of them with a couple of those variations?
3. Good sounding cymbals.
Love it. Oh, I'm glad you like them. Yeah. How you doing?
This is great.
You look a little warm and toasty in
Water
there.
break?
Grab a glass of water.
People don't understand that these rooms are very hot.
There are so many lights. If you look up, you go blind. You got to keep your head like I already can't see the camera. But you guys get some questions in for Rich. In fact, I actually just looked and there's already quite a few. So we'll get to as many as we can. But before we even get on to questions or anything like that, is there anything else you wanted to add? Like, what are the most important parts of practicing these or approaching these that you would recommend for beginners or even intermediate drummers?
Right. The main thing is just balance, and something you can really think about is balancing the limbs.
Okay.
You know, because say you're playing just that money beat number 1, right? So you guys tell me, and everybody's open to this question. What's wrong with this picture? So let me try to play really bad here.
Anyone in the chat? I'm sure it's going nuts. Your
hi-hat.
Arms are going high. Your hi-hat's really loud.
Yeah. So let's balance it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to dig into the kick a little bit more. I'm going to whack the snare a little bit more. I'm going to bring the hi-hat down just a little bit and pretend that you're an audio engineer and you're mixing yourself right on the spot. Because if you're like me and you were in the trenches, I played bar mitzvahs, I played corporate parties, I played supermarket grand openings, I played in club bands, and you have to mix yourself before you hit the microphone. So this is how I would fix that. So you could play, I think the Italians came up with dynamics. Okay. And Luigi goes, hey, you play it very, very soft. It's a pianissimo, yeah? And you play a soft, it's a piano. You play a mezzo piano, it's a kind of soft, Luigi. You got the mezzo forte, kind of loud. It's a loud Luigi. Forte, fortissimo Luigi. So I have just on one drum, I've got these different dynamic levels. And you could just approach your drum like that. Number 2.
Awesome. Yeah, big time.
And dynamics will change depending on the room you're in. If you're playing a symphony concert hall, then pianissimo and fortissimo are going to be different. If you're playing in the corner at a wedding and the mother of the bride is like, shh, then your dynamics are, you have to find where the peak of the song is, because the high point of the song is going to be either the bridge or the guitar solo or the tag. And so if this is your peak dynamic, there's your verse. So this is the stuff that separates the men from the boys.
Totally. Yeah.
As far as like being in working bands and playing with other musicians. Because once you learn this stuff, you want to practically apply it and really play in a band. Because really, why are we doing this? We really want to get out of our garages and our basements and play with other people, because that's where music happens.
I love it, man. This is so great. And everyone's in there. Rich T in the chat says, "How funny is this guy? You're hilarious, buddy." You guys got to watch the chorus we filmed with him. It's just there's so many laughs. We're in the back in the control. I'm just killing ourselves laughing.
Is that what was happening? Because usually you're looking through the glass and people are like,
No, we were laughing.
And they're just saying, you're thinking, oh my God, this guy is horrible. But actually what they're saying is, forgot my mayo. I ordered a salad, not fries.
I want to keep the outtakes. You should give us permission to have the outtakes in the end. It's pretty funny. But
did you guys want to hear another song?
I do. I was just gonna say. So the first song you played was Jason Aldean. It was Gonna Know We Were Here.
Yeah,
right?
that's the new single. That's out right now, and we just shot a music video for it.
Yeah.
And I'll talk to you guys about commitment in the music industry. We are crazy. We shot a music video for this thing at 4 in the morning. Because it was just the right time. And when you shoot videos, they're 18-hour days. You know what I mean? And there was fireworks and pyro. We were on this football field. It's going to be a really fun music video.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
You know when it's going to be released?
I don't. Soon.
It
better, because this song is already climbing towards the top of the charts.
No doubt. Okay, well, do another song for us. This one is called Dirt Road Anthem. Is that correct?
It sure is.
Cool.
And people always ask me, why are you reading music, Rich? You played drums on this. But yeah, I played drums on this 5 years ago. And also, I will let you know that I'm not playing along with a click track. So basically what I have to do is think back about what happened 5-6 years ago. How was I feeling on that particular day? And just try to lock up with the drums. But notice how I try to stay out of the way of the vocal, and I'm working with the bass player, and I'm trying to come up with cool parts that are dramatically make sense, but it's not about the drums so much as honoring the song.
Absolutely.
Can you guys give me more level on the track there a little bit? Because my ears aren't sitting as much. But here we go. Let's find it here on our...
Sounds good. And while Rich is looking for the song and while he's playing it, if you guys do have any questions, send them in. And we will get to those at the end. And then maybe we'll get you to play one more tune at the very end of the lesson.
Love it. Here we go.
Perfect.
was a place to go. Load the truck up, hit the dirt road. Jump the barbed wire, spread the word. Light the bonfire and call the girls. King and the can and the Marlboro man. Jack and Jim were a few good men where you learn how to kiss and cuss and fight too. Better watch out for the boys in blue and all this small town. He said, she said. Ain't it funny how rumors spread like I know something y'all don't know? Man, that talk is getting old. You better mind your business, man. Watch your mouth before I have to knock that loud mouth out. I'm tired of talking, man. Y'all ain't listening. Them old dirt roads is what y'all miss. I'm chilling on a dirt road, laid back, swerving like I'm George Jones. Smoke rolling out the window, and ice cold beer sitting in the console. Memory laid up in the headlights, it's got me reminiscing on the good times. I'm turning off a real life driving, that's right, I'm hitting easy street on the tires. I sit back and think about them good old days, the way we were raising our southern ways, and we like cornbread and biscuits, and if it's broke around here, we fix it. I can take y'all where you need to go, down to my hood, back in them woods. We do it different round here, that's right, but we sure do it good, and we do it all night. So if you really want to know how it feels to get off the road, trucks and four wheels, jump on in, and man, tell your friends we'll raise some hell with a blacktop in. I'm chilling on the dirt road, laid back, swerving like I'm George Jones. Smoke rolling out the window, and ice cold beer sitting in the console. Memory laid up in the headlights, it's got me reminiscing on good times. I'm turning off a real life driving, that's right, I'm hitting easy street on the tires. That's right. On a dirt road, laid back, swerving like I'm George Jones. Smoke rolling out the window, and ice cold beer sitting in the console. Memory laid up in the headlights, it's got me reminiscing on them good times. I'm turning off a real life driving, that's right, I'm hitting easy street on the tires. That's right.
Your stick twirls and everything, just you're a showman.
Thank you, brother.
Very exciting to watch. Okay, let's get to some questions.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So this one, the first one comes in from Aaron Christoph. Says, what has been the largest attribution to your success? Are there any, or was it on an event, or was there a specific time in your life that allowed you to get to where you're at now?
Wow, that's a great question. Man, you know, usually success, you talk to successful people, it does not land in your lap. It is a combination of being passionate about something and working really, really hard and rolling up your sleeves and getting up every day. This is kind of what defines me as a human being. It's my passion. It's what gets me out of bed every day. I'm excited to work hard of it because if passion is your engine, then hard work can be your fuel. And when you're using hard work to fuel something you're really passionate about, it doesn't feel like hard work, which allows you in turn to work harder and harder and harder. Yeah. So definitely I subscribe to the 10,000 hour theory, which is like if you do the math, it's practicing 8 hours a day, 7 days a week for about 6 years. And I know that I did that alone in a practice room before I started playing with other musicians, and then logging in the hours with actual musicians on a stage. Like saying, I backed up jugglers and mimes and comedians and played in symphony orchestras and also played bar mitzvahs and bat mitzvahs and pool parties and supermarket grand openings and tribute bands and but when somebody called me to play a gig, I would say yes before I even knew what it paid or whatever, because that's how you create your experience, you know, and life really is just this collection of experiences. And if you are always playing at the top of your game, and most importantly, everybody expects you to be a world-class musician in the music business today, but if you are actually a good person who shows up on time, and you're well dressed, and you can take direction, and you have a firm handshake, and you're a team player. Your drums sound good, and you have maybe some other skill sets, like being able to read music and being able to play lots of different kinds of music is going to allow you to have a greater chance to be successful. And also, location is everything. If you're trying to be a successful recording drummer and you live in Fargo, North Dakota, it's not going to happen, I can guarantee you, because you must be present to win, which just means you need to be in a New York and LA or a Nashville or a Vancouver or Montreal, where the music business is happening and where there's opportunities that you can not only create yourself, but you'll have to meet the people that are doing what you want to do. And those are in those kind of markets. So it's a life choice, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Great answer, man. This one comes in from Roscoe Jim. It says, I have a problem lifting my foot off the pedal, like you were doing today with some of your hi-hat foot variations. He says, when I'm also kicking the drum, it feels like I'm bouncing off my throne. Is there a trick to that? Or how do I keep my heel on the pedal and still keep everything going?
Well, I think that you really need to make sure that this is actually a little tight for me. Make sure that you have enough throw here. That's a solid inch right there. But of course, we're on the metric system here, so...
solid 3 centimeters?
Yeah, right? So you should have it open enough where you can create that solid chick sound, right? It needs to be very solid and staccato and percussive. So when you're practicing any of these exercises that I had today, you want to make sure that you are really on the downbeat, defining when that closes perfectly on the beat. And also, I'm not shy with it. I'm literally, there's a lot of leg muscle that's involved here. I mean, my quads, my hammies, my ankles, everything, the ball of my foot is involved in getting that sound. So you really want to make sure that you're getting as much volume as you can out of this instrument and practice with a click track, all right? And especially when you get into your splashes, that's another technique. Another thing you might do is the heel-toe technique. This is like when you're first studying jazz drumming. A lot of old-school jazz drummers would have you go heel-toe, heel-toe. Bing, baka-ding, 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 baka. You know, and so you'd put the heel to mark where the time is on beat 1, and then you would play the toe on beats 2 and 4. But I'm a big fan of actually using the whole leg. 1, 2, 3, 4. That just helps me get a big sound.
Cool, cool. Same kind of along the same lines, Boaklead 3 says, are there any specific leg to foot exercises that Rich works on for these hi-hat splashes and kick patterns?
Oh, interesting. You know, a great tool that you can use to develop facility by incorporating the feet is to take any existing snare drum book. And when I'm thinking snare drum books, I'm thinking the Podemskis, the Albright, the Ted Reed book. Start with the Ted Reed book. So like a page out of the Ted Reed book would be something like, you know, bop, 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 ba-da-da, bop, bop, bop. So start incorporating the feet with what I would call practical ostinatos. So ostinatos that you're going to use to create music making. So a walking pattern like, right? So that's something you would do a lot in music making. Another thing you would do is put all 4 quarter notes on the hi-hat and 1 and 3 on the kick drum. So another thing you could do is the boom chick, which is like, you know, the Polish American club where it's so these are practical things that I would actually play in a band, you know. Boom chick, boom chick, boom chick, boom chick. And then I could read any snare drum book. I just made that up, but any snare drum reading book, rudiment book, the Ted Reed book, the stick control book, you can pull these books out and you can start putting practical ostinatos, music-making ostinatos. So walking rhythms, boom, chick, quarter notes on here with the 1 and 3. You could do like a Terry Bozzio thing where both feet are doing the same thing. Get real aggressive with it. And what's great about it is when you do this, you're working on your coordination, and you're also working on your reading. And I can't stress reading enough. I mean, if you don't know how to read the Ted Reed syncopation book from beginning to end, that's something that you should need to be able to do with your drumming career because it really outlines the basis of where all of our rhythmic combinations come from. You know, so Start experimenting with that.
Yeah, tons of ideas there. Question here from Lars Petter says.
Lars!
He says, hey, Rich, loving the lesson. How do you get the energy and stage presence you have? It makes it so much more entertaining to watch.
Oh, well, thank you. I thought that there was one person out there that liked what I do. Anyways. You know, my role as a drummer is to not steal thunder from it. My role as a drummer is to make everybody in the band feel super comfortable and make their job easy. And the most important thing is, if you're playing in a band, the most important thing to have in, say, your wedge or your inner monitors is that lead vocal. If I had to pick two things to put in my wedge, it would be the kick drum, so I could be inspired by the low end, and the vocal, because the vocal is telling a story, and he's usually cutting your check. So you kind of have to stay out of the way of that. But it's okay to steal a little bit of thunder to say, hey, look I tour on this bus too. I sleep in airports. I eat this, road food. I exist. I want to have a little bit of a life back here as well too. And it's cool to be like, hey, check out the drummer. And it doesn't have to be anything super dramatic. You have to be able to read the room. But I was in marching band. So in marching band, we did things like backsticking. Right? We did basic twirls. We did this kind of stuff. We did basic twirls. People always see me, they see me do this. And they go, what is that, Rich? It's basically, I just have this fulcrum, open palm, and I'm just spinning the stick one rotation. But if you time it so it lands right with the crash, and then you just had Carmine Appice in here, and I stole this from Carmine. It's basically, if you look at the fake twirl, they call this a fake twirl. A real twirl, I never learned. It's where it goes through all your fingers. But this, I practiced till I was blue in the face. And I just incorporate it in places in the music to draw people in and to communicate with them. And you can also time that as well. You can do some under the cymbal stuff. And that's all that is, really. And then if you want to play something at the end of... stand up. Just let the world kind of know you exist. I wouldn't recommend that at the bar mitzvah, but if there's 500 people in the audience...
Go for it, yeah.
Go for it,
totally.
Yeah.
Great answer, man. Great ideas with those little twirls. Here's a question from 572 Heaven. Says, any drummer, or not a question, more of a comment, just said, any drummer who thinks country drumming is boring needs to listen to Rich. He is so awesome. Hope this lesson lands in the library ASAP.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
That's great. Thank you so much.
It will be in the library as soon as possible. We're also going to be uploading it to YouTube as well. So, okay, a couple more, and then we'll get you to play us out here. This one is from Ludwiger. He says, I hear that country is one of the best musics to learn from if you are a beginner. Do you think that's true?
You know what? I mean, country and Western, we play two kinds of music, has been always... a little bit of a stepchild in the musical spectrum. But I will tell you this, some of the greatest musicians in the world live in Nashville, Tennessee, because they have a skill set that involves hearing a song for the first time, and 30 minutes, 60 minutes, or 90 minutes later, depending on the budget of the recording, you have a world-class song, something that is going to exist forever. Most of the Jason Aldean 20 #1 songs that you've heard, I never did more than 3 takes. This is from hearing the song.
Really?
So many of them are first takes.
Cow.
Because the songs are so well written, they basically play themselves. They're little gems, they're little masterpieces. So just from playing music for 30 years, you develop an intuition about what a song needs, and then it becomes about execution. So the more experience you can have, like speaking the different languages of music, like when I moved to Nashville, I was playing down on Lower Broadway, and we were playing some old time country music where I was pulling the beater off the head, and I was playing, a lot of discipline. What if you're playing a shuffle and it's this slow? You really have to subdivide and really lead the band, but you have to be subtle and dynamic. And so there's an art to playing all sorts of music. The train beat. Check out the lessons we recorded today. I talk all about how an amateur sounds on the train beat and how to make it sound totally pro and deep and sincere and valid. So yeah, I think it is a good music to learn from, because I think it is the new rock and roll. Yep. And I think that people like hearing about love and loss and stories that everybody in the heartland can relate to.
Totally.
And the drums usually play a super solid money beat. And if you can play along with these recordings, here's some advice about playing along with recording. If you're playing along with recording and your drums sound like the studio drummer's drums, then you're doing a great job.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah, for sure.
So put on some noise canceling headphones. I use these, they're called Direct Sound Extreme Isolation headphones. And they're super affordable and super pro, and they'll cancel out the sound of your drum so you can really focus on playing tight with a track.
Yeah. Love it, man. Last question. We'll leave it at this after this one. This was from Randy Purdue.
I know, Randy.
Yeah,
What's up,
says,
Randy?
He says, hey, Randy Purdue here from Roanoke. Sorry if I'm pronouncing that.
Roanoke, Virginia?
Yeah. He says, ask Rich to tell us about his crash course.
Oh, okay. Yeah, for those that are interested out there, I basically, 10 years ago, I came up with a philosophy there's a mic, that's working. There's a philosophy for successful living, and it's called CRASH, and it's an acronym, and it stands for commitment, relationships, attitude, skill, and hunger. So we're kind of trying to demonstrate that here today. So the commitment that it took to learn the drums over a 30-year period, the commitment that you guys showed by signing up to be a Drumeo and signing on to these lessons and being here at this hour, maybe it's some insane hour at some other part of the world, that's a great commitment. The relationships on the drums and balancing your limbs together, and also the relationships in life. I've never gotten a job from an audition. One time over the years I got a job from an audition, but usually it's from human relationships with like-minded people that like my drumming. And so the more people you can have in your life that enjoy your drumming and what you do, the better. Attitude, I would say that attitude is 99% of life. It's an expectation for you to be a great musician, but an attitude, a great attitude is infectious, and people want to be around people that have a good attitude. And then your skill set is something you're developing here by subscribing to Drumeo. And then hunger, having a hunger that burns like a fire in your belly to be successful throughout life. And for me personally, I'm always trying to tap into that energy I had as an 8-year-old that got his first Blue Sparkle snare drum, and then I got my cherry red Yamaha kit when I was 16 years old, and then going to lessons and going to concerts and watching MTV and learning and hanging out with drummers and just soaking things up. I'm very, very hungry, and now I'm in the back half of my life, and I'm looking for the next 20 years. What do I want to do to be successful? And I'm doing different things, like I'm doing voice acting, and I'm covered in blood, and I'm in a horror movie, and I'm just trying different things, but it's all under music and entertainment umbrella.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love that, man. And, if you guys want to follow Rich, you can find him online, richredmond.com. You can follow him on social media. He also does, you do almost like a camp, like a 3-day intensive. Yeah, my 3-day intensive. My 3rd annual Drummers Weekend is coming up. It's coming up in Nashville, October 30th through November 1st. It's 72 hours, 24 hours of hands-on training. You travel around in style, travel in limos. We're going to feed you 3 amazing meals a day, tons of door prizes. I have world-class teachers coming. Mr. Thomas Lang is coming. Mr. Greg Morrow, Academy of Country Music Drummer of the Year, played on hundreds of hit songs, is going to be teaching. My buddy Mark Schulman has played with Pink and Foreigner and Cher. It's going to rock your socks off. And it's just super, super great time. So if you're interested, just check out at richredmond.com. There's on the homepage, there's information about my 3rd annual Drummers Weekend. You can always hit me at booking at richredmond.com, and on social media, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, I'm just at Rich Redmond. Love it, man. Hey, thank you so much.
Oh, my God, what a pleasure. We finally made this happen.
Absolutely. And again, guys, I hope you enjoyed this. If you guys liked it, what you're seeing here, and you're not an Edge member yet, drumeo.com/trial. You can sign up for free for 30 days, and you can see the Edge course that we filmed with him. That's massive. It goes beyond just money beats. We talk about other useful grooves that all drummers should know. So you can check that out very soon. And again, follow Rich Redmond, richredmond.com. And yeah, that's it for me,
You guys are amazing. Thanks for having me. I'm going to leave you with a song called She's Country, which is kind of like my little bit of an homage to John Bonham. Yes.
Awesome.
He just had his birthday, actually.
Yeah, that's right.
Thank you so much, guys. Keep in touch.
Bye-bye.
You boys ever met a real country girl? Talking true blue, out in the woods, down home, country.
sweet money done jacked it up. She's a party all-nighter from South Carolina, a bad mamma jamma from down in Alabama. She's a raging Cajun lunatic from Brunswick, juicy Georgia peach with a thick southern drawl, sexy swinging wall. Brother, she's all country. From her cowboy boots to her down home roots, she's country. From the song she plays to the prayer she prays, that's the way she was born and raised. She ain't afraid to stay country. Brother, she's country. Hill raising sugar when the sun goes down. Mama taught her how to rip up the town. Honey dripping honey from the holler in Kentucky, get you flipping kinda trippy like a Mississippi hippie. She's a Kansas princess, crazy mother truck.